A legitimate business was going on in Jerusalem at the time that Jesus entered on the donkey just on Palm Sunday. The very next day, Jesus goes back to Jerusalem and he chases out all the money changers and all those who were involved in selling sacrifices for those who needed them at the temple. So what changed in about 24 hours? Well, join me here on CITAM Church Online. My name is Reverend Kwame Rubadiri. We're told in the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 11, and beginning from verse 15 to 17, that on reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts and began driving out those who were buying and selling there, overturning the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, "Is it not written, 'My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations,' but you have made it a den of robbers." There were three very important feasts that every practicing Jew had to attend in person in Jerusalem. That was the Feast of Passover, the Feast of Pentecost, and the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, when Jews came from all over the world to partake in or participate in these feasts, particularly the Feast of Passover, they had to bring a sacrifice. Now, the sacrifice had to be completely without blemish. It had to be a perfect lamb or a perfect goat or a perfect bull, whatever the case might be. And so in order to avoid having to bring an animal which could be injured on the way, if you're traveling all the way, let's say from Caesarea or even as far as Rome to come and celebrate the Passover, you had to be sure that the animal you brought or the sacrifice you brought was acceptable. So the easiest way to do that was to buy something when you reached Jerusalem. In fact, to buy it at the temple so that you didn't have to worry about it being hurt or injured in any particular way. So in many ways, the people who were providing this service were providing a legitimate business. But Jesus noticed something more serious about what was going on, and that's why he came to overturn the money changers' tables and to chase out those who had been selling doves or some of the other sacrifices as well. He said something about the need to recognize what the temple was for. And this is an important question for us because we often take for granted and go through the various celebrations throughout the year as a routine. It's a routine for us to observe Good Friday. It's a routine for us to observe Resurrection Sunday or Palm Sunday, as we did yesterday. And as a result, we tend to go to church out of habit. We tend to go to the place of worship. We even go into the presence of God without really thinking about what it is God wants us to experience. And so I believe this is why Jesus allowed this situation to occur, why it's recorded in all of the four Gospels. The chasing out, or the cleansing, as they say, of the temple, the cleaning up of the house. I think what needs to be taken seriously in our lives is that we have in some ways not taken seriously the need to be respectful of the presence of God in the house of God and what it is God wants us to do when we do gather, when we come together for worship. In this case, Jesus gave two reasons. One was that the house of God should be a place of prayer. It should be a place where we bring our needs before the Lord and we also connect with Him in hearing from Him, because prayer is two-way. It is asking God or bringing to God our needs, but also listening to Him, asking Him to speak to us and give us some feedback. The second thing Jesus said was, "You have made it a den of thieves." What are we making the place of worship or the place of prayer? Are we simply making it a routine place to go and sing songs and hear a message? Or is it a place of transformation? Is it a place where God speaks to us? Is it a place where indeed we encounter the presence of God like we've never before? I pray that you will encounter God through prayer and worship, not just during Easter, but even after and for the rest of your life. But more so, you will not allow your own life to somehow turn your encounter with God into a routine exercise, but into a life-transforming and a life-giving experience. God bless you.